Hello, what's going on YouTube? This is J Money here, and I'm bringing you guys a pretty interesting topic I want to talk about for today. And it is in regards to a video that I had ended up watching on Team Samurai's channel about the pendulum player that went undefeated with pendulums, and it was an unorthodox build. I watched the whole thing, and the link to the video will be down in the comments. I'll have it somewhere down there in the comments, but as he was, I'm sure a lot of you have also watched it, but what I've noticed is, outside of his awesome little arrogant attitude, which a lot of people were really paying attention to, what I noticed is that a lot of his tech choices and his play style can also contribute to how he won. And what do I mean by this? Well, what I mean is our attitudes at times can dictate what we play in our decks. Our mentality, our mindset can dictate what cards we choose to play in decks. And surprisingly enough, in his deck, he had 0 hand traps in his main deck or side deck. He had no wavering eyes, no star graph, no time graph, no none of that. You know, he wanted all combo pieces. And he was playing things like, he was playing triple rescue hamster, he was playing triple master Cerberus, like one jackal, which is like the king jackal, and one of the upstart. He was playing 2 desires, 3 allures, one upstart. He was basically playing a 30 card deck, and in his side deck he had 2 sets of both of these kaijus, because they're level 7s and they can help you make absolute dragon, etc, etc. Everything in his deck was designed to basically play through hand traps, which is what I think every deck should be engineering their deck to do, is playing around Drone Lock, Ash Blossom, and all that other good stuff. But some things that he mentioned that people might not have picked up on, he may have given a lot of us a nice little gem and didn't even realize it. The things he was saying made a lot of sense. And he was basically going on the fact that, hey, if you're not a combo piece, I don't want to play you at all. And his mentality was just to play a bunch of combo pieces and a bunch of combo extenders, which is something I said in my very first World Challenge deck profile. I said in the very first one, this like, if a deck is fragile, you should be playing so many extenders to where the disruptions do not matter. Not clogging your deck with hand traps and making it inherently more inconsistent and all that good stuff. Because I could play 3 Ash, 3 Ogre, 2 Effect Veilers, and open 3 hand traps, and as he said, yeah, your opponent can't play, but you don't either. Unless you're playing like a dinosaur engine, which is like 1 card, Oviraptor dump, Overattack, search double evolution pill to get your conductor. That's fine. That's okay, that's excusable. However, most decks require multiple cards to get their combos off, and you clog your deck with hand traps. Again, your opponent can't play, but you're also stuck not making a play because you're drawing hand traps left and right and all that good stuff, and it's not helping your combos. The mentality behind the cards he's playing says that I'm trying to win, versus other people that play these hand traps are basically on the mindset of I'm not trying to lose. And that is and that's the key. His attitude of trying to win makes him to where these cards are not needed, to where I can play things like these, and like a bunch of other cards to just get multiple Electromites, because he was also playing 3 of these to just copy Electromite to make Electromite about 6 times. And he figured it out. I kind of figured it out a while ago, but Of course, Pendulums is a deck that can naturally play around Droll because you have things like Electromite that can not search, and you got things like Harmonizing that can summon from deck. Wisdom Eye can set, can put skills directly from zones or from the deck, so it bypasses Droll and Ash, and those cards are actually pretty powerful against other decks. But if you have like decks like, let's say like World Chalice, that if you get hit by a Droll, that sucks. But I've actually engineered my deck to play around a Droll. Let's say I do get hit by a Droll. Well, normally you would be playing things like Chosens and all that other stuff, but I decided to play the level 2 chick, the Crowned, because Tri-White is live, and it summons 3 monsters out of the graveyard, so it also bypasses Ash, it bypasses Droll, so it ensures that I can still make plays regardless if I'm under things such as Droll and Lockbird, which I've seen a little bit more success. Problem is, I built like a Venus Turbo build, which I was playing like Mystery Earth and the Celestial Transformations, and that was just terrible. That was horrible. But that's still in the works. But regardless, I like this guy's mindset. I like his mentality, and believe it or not, I believe that your mindset and how you perceive things can actually dictate what cards you play in your decks. If you have the mentality of I'm trying to win, you may not play things like these. You may opt to go second and just play things like Evenly Matched to and Kaiju Slumbers and all that good stuff, because even he knows that playing Kaijus can progress your game state. Hand traps do not do that. They kind of slow down your opponent's game state, but if you are clogging decks with non-progressive cards, you're just as stuck as your opponent is, if not worse, because your opponent still has board presence. Case in point, when I was playing my going second World Chalice, I was playing 3 Evenly Matched and 3 Kaijus, and considering that I already played Waterfront, I'll play like a copy of this Thunder King, and I'll put it on my side of the board, and you remove 3 counters and literally shut my opponent's entire side of the board down. And my game state has been progressed, versus an Ogre or an Ash to stop one card, even though they still built up some sort of resistance. I sit here and I can just wipe the monsters or tribute over the one disruption, and get rid of and play around the second one, and still create a board with cards I can actually use. Because the problem with hand traps still is that there are some decks that an Ash Blossom isn't very good against, or there are some decks to where Ogre isn't good against. But if I sit here, and the obvious problem of drawing it a turn late after they've already went off, versus if you draw Evenly Matched or a Kaiju a turn late, it is still very much live. But he engineered his deck to have about 3 to 4 disruptions, having like a Vortex, a Hope Harbinger, a Firewall, and maybe a Naruto if he doesn't get disrupted. If he gets disrupted, he can make 3 disruptions, and he does it consistently and all that good stuff. And it's just the mindset of I'm trying to win, so you can Ash me, you can Droll me, and you can hit me with Effect Veiler all you want, but I have combo plays for days. I'm gonna just keep going because I have extenders. He had multiple different avenues to get around different things, and he had multiple different outs. And that is what I believe more decks should be striving for. Is I know people are really, really keen to playing hand traps, but sometimes it might not be the best idea, especially considering your particular type of deck and the kind of play style it is. If it's like Spirals, for instance, maybe a board breaker version is far superior to versus hand traps, because you want to progress your game state. Everybody should strive to not only make their deck as consistent as possible, but at the same time be able to play other cards to continue to aid their combos, because they know that we know the disruptions are out there. The disruptions are very much there, but if you can find a way around those disruptions and progress and continue to move forward with your combos, then you should have absolutely no problem. So, with that being said, that should be just about it. Let me know what you guys think about the what I just said. You know, the things I discussed. Do you believe that our attitudes and our mindsets can dictate the cards we play, how we play them? You know, the certain tech choices. You know, do you believe that, you know, just quote unquote stopping your opponent is worth, you know, also slowing down your own plays? Because, you know, he seemed to break boards just fine. He broke boards, he set up boards, and he was still able to play around disruptions because he had the whole thing figured out. He had the mindset of trying to win versus not trying to lose. So, thank you guys very much. This is J Money, and I am signing out.